Contestant number 4, Hasindu Siyambalape, the oxygen tube. The oxygen tube, Hasindu Siyambalape.
A dying man, gasping for breath, was on his deathbed. By his side was a priest giving him spiritual consolation. The man desperately gestured to the priest for a piece of paper. With great effort, he wrote a few words, gave it to the priest, and passed away. The priest put the paper in his pocket and forgot all about it until the final rites. There, he suddenly recalled that paper the man gave him before he died. Taking it out, he announced that he was about to read the great words of wisdom from the dying man. It read, "You are standing on my oxygen tube, you fool?" That was a story I read on Facebook. Contestia, ladies and gentlemen, do you have an oxygen tube? Yes, you do. So do I. When I was 17, I realized there were two people standing on my oxygen tube. Not a hard guess. My mother and my father. They always expected a doctor out of me, but the problem was I wanted to become an engineer since my childhood. After successfully completing my ordinary level exam, I told my parents, "Mom, Dad, I need to do mathematics for my advanced level." Then my mother was like, "What's wrong with you, son? That's not the plan we have for you. You must do biology. Even the astrologer said that you would become a very good doctor." They seriously thought they were doing something good for me. But they were just standing on my oxygen tube because mathematics was my oxygen. That's what I needed to learn. Only that could help me survive in this competitive education system. I had guts to tell my parents, "Dear Mom, dear Dad, please move over. You're standing on my oxygen tube. I need to breathe." After 6 years, here I am today standing in front of you as an engineering undergraduate because I didn't die. I told them to move over, and that saved my life, figuratively. Today, becoming an engineering undergraduate, I have accomplished my childhood dream. I will graduate from the university 1 year from now, hopefully. Then I will be working in the industry. But unfortunately, I might get to work under a bureaucratic employer who always devalues my innovativeness. How many of you think that you work in a place where you are forced to take decisions which you very clearly know to be incorrect and against your principles? That's when you find your employer standing on your oxygen tube because your principles are your oxygen. That's what you need to live by. My innovativeness is my oxygen. That's what I need to do something good to this world. That leaves you and I with two options. A, work the way the boss wants us to and save our jobs. B, have a little courage and tell him, "Dear sir, please move over. You are standing on my oxygen tube. I need to breathe." I will definitely choose B because I don't want to die. I don't want to retire as a person who is so cynical about himself. Would you, ma'am? Not only individuals, but also a nation has an oxygen tube. During colonial era, 3 imperialistic nations were standing on our oxygen tube for more than 400 years. Great leaders, from Monaravila Kappettipola to Ponnambala Marunachalam to T.B. Jaya, told the world to move over and saved our oxygen tube. Our beloved nation, Sri Lanka. Similarly, the world has seen great leaders in the caliber of Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., who had courage to defend their oxygen tubes so that their countrymen could breathe freely. What you need so badly is your oxygen. Your oxygen is what makes you who you are. Just go for it. Fight for it. Live for it. Sometimes as individuals. Sometimes as a nation. Let's have courage and insight to tell the world. Move over. You are standing on my oxygen tube. I need. Over to you.